Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and
Well,
you're watching AccessTV.org.
What time is it? It's time to get hit and get a grip with who? None other than your councilwoman, rJo Winch. We're here in my office tonight. I have a special guest, Peter DeMalley from Design Professionals. He's going to have a conversation with us about some things about regionalizing and regionalism. You know, we've all heard about regionalizing, and some of us say, well, I'm not too keen on that. But, you know, Peter has some different ideas to talk about that to us this evening. So we're going to just have a candid conversation with Peter. So hi, Peter.
Hi, rJo.
Welcome back to another segment of Get Hip and Get a Grip.
Thank you.
You must have enjoyed it the last time because now you came back.
I didn't know you at first. When I first met you, I had no idea that you were a TV personality. You know?
Oh, I didn't know J.C. McCauley is he did that. You know, I met him like about 10 years ago, and we started Get Hip and Get a Grip, and people loved it. And
10 years.
You know, over 10 years.
Wonderful.
So I didn't run him away, so I guess now it's a new friendship.
Great.
But tell us more about the regionalizing of the transportation, basically, right?
Yeah, we talk about transportation. Why don't I first overview what the region is? Okay, Hartford's at the center of New England's Knowledge Corridor. That is a bi-state region of 7 counties. You could call it Metro Hartford, Springfield, New Haven, which has a population of over 2.77 million people. It's the 20th largest market in the United States. We're discussing the XL Center of late. It's larger than 15 of the current NHL markets right now.
Wow.
So it's big.
It's
big.
big.
It's not Chicago, it's not Philly, but next tier down.
It's big enough. And so, and how many people are you thinking would use these rails to get from Boston, New York, Springfield, New Haven?
Lots. You know, when we opened up the bus rapid transit system, CT Fast Track, from New Britain to Hartford just 2 years ago, who would have ever guessed that we'd have 7 million riders already?
Wow.
You know, so we're going to do something like that. I don't know if it'd be the same numbers, but come May of 2018, just this coming spring, we're going to be opening up the commuter rail line serving Hartford, New Haven, and Springfield.
And where's it going to be? Where's it going to be based? Where would people catch the rails?
Oh, well, they can get it at Union Station.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Union Station and other stations in between. There'll be another one on the West Hartford line, and there'll be stations in Meriden and Berlin, and Enfield and Springfield and New Haven, Wallingford. There'll be many places where they can catch the train.
All right, so we're not talking about building new train stations. We're talking about having additional train stop locations where people can go. Okay.
Some of these train stations are new. Some have yet to be built. Others are existing train stations. Some have been refurbished. For example, the terminus at the northerly end in downtown Springfield is Union Station. You know,
so we have Union Station. We have Union Station here in
and there's a Union Station in New Haven, the primary station there.
Okay.
And the one in Springfield, I think it was a $95 million refurbishment project.
Wow.
So they just opened that. In fact, we had State of the Region conference for New England's Knowledge Corridor Partnership. We just had that a few weeks ago. We had the annual conference. And it was held at the refurbished Union Station in Springfield downtown.
But when we start building, you know, in structures, there's always a financial issue. So if we were going to build it because we already have a Union Station, would it be an extension of what we already have, or is it something we need to build out?
We've realigned the rail lines. We've refurbished. We used to have dual tracks between New Haven through Hartford to Springfield. Some of that got ripped up for inexplicable reasons. We've replaced that. Between New Haven and Hartford, for example, there are 5 sections of track that were only single tracks. And so you can't have trains going by and you have to wait and alternate and all that stuff. Now we've restored that. And we did some work on the trains, a lot of signalization, electrification, other things. So we spent between $500 million, so about $500 million, a little bit more than that. About the same amount as the bus rapid transit system.
So you say a lot about we, so can you tell, you know, our viewers who is we? You say this is what we have done, so
well, it's a DOT.
We? Okay.
DOT
Department of Transportation.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So it's over a $500 million project, similar to the CT Fast Track. But this will be transformational. We're going to be able to get on a train in Hartford and go every other train or thereabouts, and go right into through New Haven without changing your seat. Go right into New York City because they're going to have dual engine capability. One will be for fossil fuel engine, and another one for the electrified tracks going through New Haven, through Stamford, down into New York. So we'll be able to do that frequently. So a business here in Hartford can do business. Business people can go into New York City for meetings during the business day, and come back the same day back to Hartford, and there'll be frequent trains doing that. So it's transformational. What we'd like to see is this whole system, again, it's going to be New Haven to Hartford to Springfield, starting in May. We'll have 17 round-trip trains between New Haven and Hartford at the beginning, and another 12 between Hartford and Springfield. That will eventually grow to about 25 round-trip trains a day, based on demand, as demand warrants it.
Absolutely.
We're way ahead of schedule on CT Fast Track. No one would ever thought we'd have 7 million passengers the first 2 years. Never. We're about 30 years out for where we thought we'd be. We're hitting those marks already for the CT Fast Track.
And most people don't need, you don't really need your car during the day. You need your car to get to work, then you need your car from work. So if the train is going to provide that transportation, look at where less usage of our roads, so the roads are going to last longer, less wear and tear on people's individual automobiles, so cars are going to, at least tires will last longer.
Think about the interstate highway system. Why haven't we expanded? If you go out to St. Louis, it's 5 lanes each direction. We can't do that here. Why? Because we're 400 years old. We have all these historic properties. We're not going to knock them down.
No.
We're not going. Are we going to knock down the city hall? No, we're not going to do that. So we're not going to widen these highways. So what happens is it's like an economic cul-de-sac because they're all congested. The busiest stretch of interstate highway in New England is the Etna Viaduct in front of Etna Life and Casualty.
Wow.
That is
not even Dunkin' Donuts Stadium. Is Etna more busy than Dunkin' Donuts Stadium?
That 2 mile stretch in front of Etna, 2 miles from downtown out to Sigourney or whatever.
Right.
That is the busiest stretch has the highest volume, and that's why you have a lot of congestion there. Highest volume of traffic in New England, by far, even more than any stretch of Boston. If it were in St. Louis or some other city, it'd be 5 lanes each direction. Wow. However, it also would be congested because people find a path. If we start lighting up if we widen it, we have more lanes, more capacity. People will instead of taking other state routes or something, they get onto the interstate. So they always fill up in a metropolitan area. But in order for us to grow economically, we have to find a way to transport people and goods.
Exactly.
And it's through rail freight. And passenger rail is the way we're going to be able to do that because we won't have enough capacity, and we didn't build the entire I-291 ring highway system around Hartford, which was originally envisioned. In fact, I was on a committee at the Capital Region Council of Governments, which decided where to put $600 million of trade-in funds that we got from that. We had more money than any other region in the nation of trade-in funds, where we elected not to build approved projects, such as I-291 Ring Road. We built a little stretch of that, but we decided where that $600 million was going to go, through Capital Region Council of Governments, or Federal Highway Administration, et cetera.
Well, the transportation sounds exciting. When I think about transportation and all the road, I think about the Jetsons, So pretty soon we're going to be in the airways. But I want y'all to stay tuned. Keep it locked right here on Get Hip and Get a Grip. I almost said all politics is local. But Get Hip and Get a Grip. We'll be right back. Welcome back to another segment of Get Hip and Get a Grip with your Councilwoman rJo Winch. We're continuing our conversation here with Peter DeMalley, and he's really enlightening me on some things about transportation and some employment opportunities and business opportunities coming through the city of Hartford as we talk about traveling by rails. So don't worry about buying that new car next year. Maybe you can get on the rails and get to work, right, Peter?
Absolutely, absolutely. We look forward to that. Everyone being able to get to transportation, get to their place of employment, place where they want to recreate, go have fun, whatever. If you can take mass transit, bus, rail, what have you, people, we can keep some of the cars at home, and some people can get by without cars. So we're never going to be expanding our highways. It's just not going to happen with the historic properties adjacent to them. So given that factor, if we want to grow this region, we have to grow our mass transit systems. Bicycle systems too, but that's
bicycles too.
Yeah, that's a great thing. It's a great thing. In certain areas, that works out well. But it's not going to be a high volume of people taking them off the roads. But it's wonderful we can still do that too. So why is it important to have these transportation systems? Because we need to grow our economy, and no better way of growing our economy than with mass transit systems and transportation systems.
And new businesses, because new businesses mean employees for local Hartford residents, and that's important to me.
Yeah. An example of that is on the air transportation side of things. For example, in Atlanta, we had they grew the airport, the huge airport in Atlanta. It became a hub. Atlanta was growing 100,000 people a year moving into the area.
Wow,
it was crazy. It's now up to 4 or 5 million people. That's absolutely incredible. So what we need to do is grow our airport. Bradley, it is growing. We've got direct flights now to the West Coast. We have direct flights to Europe. A couple of different carriers now, and we need to grow that more. That will grow our economy terrifically. It serves Hartford, Springfield, New Haven, New England's Knowledge Corridor. So that will grow our economy. More businesses will want to locate here. That means more jobs for our citizens in the city of Hartford and the suburbs, and people will want to come into the area.
So you think because if it's easier for people to commute, because that's what they will be doing, commuting into Hartford, to work, it'd be easier for them to get back out to where they live. If they don't live in Hartford, but they want to work in Hartford, it'd be easy for them to get from Springfield into Hartford to work, to get back to Springfield or wherever it is.
Just think of the congestion we have right now with no growth. What happens if we add 5% on number of vehicles going on the highway? It will be even more congested. We need to take those vehicles, those people, we need to get some of them out of their cars and onto bus rapid transit systems. They're convenient and fast, efficient, safe, punctual, all that stuff. We need to have that going on. And we need to get them in a bus rapid transit system. We need to get them on regular conventional transit buses, and we need to get them on the rail. So if we can do that, then more people can have jobs here, be employed here, and commute to work than if we were congested highways. So we can't grow with the highway system we have right now. We can only maintain it and improve it because it's now in need of great improvement. But we can only improve it, but its capacity is not going to be improved that much. Some things we can take care of, though. We have, if you're connecting between I-91 and I-84, you go from a 3-4 lane highway, whatever, down to one. You're going up 91, you want to go 84 east of Boston. It goes down to 1 lane, and it backs up 2 miles.
Yeah.
Especially like on Sundays on a holiday weekend or something. It's crazy. So we need to do mass transit, and this is one thing. So let's focus on mass transit for just 1 second. Then I want to get on to the Excel Center. And why? So if we could expand Boston's commuter rail system, it goes as far as Worcester right now to the west. If we can extend it out to Springfield, all in Massachusetts right now, then we can have a commuter rail system that goes from New York, Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, Hartford, Springfield, Worcester, into Boston, all interconnected. Every single city and suburban area along the route benefits. There are more reasons for people to relocate in all of those cities. There will be more business meetings occurring, more conventions occurring. We'll be able to get from Hartford, get on the train and go to a convention or business meeting in Boston and be back in the same day without having to get a flight or get into our car and figure out where we're going to park for $30 in Boston.
Exactly.
It'll help the city of Hartford. It will help the city of Springfield, New Haven, Worcester, and Boston, and New York, the Big Apple, and everything in between.
But we have issues right now with parking. So if people are on the rails, then that'll alleviate some of our parking issues, because everybody say, I don't want to go downtown because there's no place to park. I don't want to work certain places in Hartford because there's no place to park. But if they come in and off the rails, they won't have to worry about parking. They get off, get to their place of work, get back on the rails.
I reside in South Windsor. Thousands of people come from South Windsor every day into Hartford. What do we have for mass transit? We have nothing for mass transit. There's no rail, there's no CT Fast Track, nothing. They just extended CT Fast Track out to Yukon. That's good. So the corridor is there. But we need to get the people from South Windsor conveniently through transit, bus service, through the main drags, down to the CT Fast Track bus rapid transit system and into the city. And we need to be able to make a comprehensive system. So more jobs. We don't have an economic cul-de-sac, which is the congested highways. We alleviate that through mass transit. More employers want to be here. We will retain more employers, just like if we have more direct flights out of Bradley. And Kevin Dillon and his crew are doing a great job over there. I love what they're doing there. Then we will have
a little plug for who, Kevin?
Kevin Dillon.
Kevin
He's the
Dillon, thank
executive
you.
director. He's doing a phenomenal job. We got Aer Lingus direct flights from Hartford to Dublin and to 26 cities or so beyond that. I can get to Hamburg, Germany. I want to go there next year. I studied there twice. I want to get there for one big
I lived in
vacation.
Germany for 3 years. It's wonderful. If you get to go.
Where in Germany?
I lived in Kaiserslautern and Simbach, Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And I lived in Dubreuilville, a little small town
Okay.
called Dubreuilville.
I took my graduate record exam in Frankfurt
Oh, wow.
at the
Okay,
military base. there.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I was studying in Hamburg, the
Okay.
big city to the north. But so let's talk a little bit about advanced manufacturing and then why we need to have the XL Center refurbished. Okay, what's the relationship? Say, oh, I don't want to watch hockey. Well, let me tell you why it's important. First of all, advanced manufacturing. We have always been a leader since Sam and Elizabeth Colt were here. We've been a leader in metal manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, precision manufacturing. Why did Pratt & Whitney aircraft come here? To make airplane engines originally and now jet engines. Why do they have a $1 trillion backlog in engine manufacturing? You know, orders for engines. That's huge. It's bigger than the GDP of many countries. Why is it that? Because we had the precision, interchangeable parts and precision manufacturing with metal here. And people recommended, they said, the place where you want to go where the skilled workforce is Hartford. That's where they're making it. They have all these guys are completely trained down here there at the Coltsville.
But then they moved them all out, so now we got to find a way to move those manufacturers back in.
So we need to attract we need to build up from within. There are lots of people unemployed, underemployed in the city and the region that need to get their skill sets up. They need their education first. They need their skills. They may need to be, some of them may be able to go on to college and get skills there too. But we need a skilled workforce to replace the fully 50% of all manufacturing workers. We're in advanced manufacturing. We don't make the cheap stuff here. We make the expensive stuff because it's too expensive to do business here. They can do that overseas. So but eventually it's going to come back as it's less labor intensive. The machines are doing all the work. The machines will be right here in Hartford area, but we're not ready for that completely yet. So we have advanced manufacturing here. We have fully 50% of our workforce is retiring in the next 10 years, and they're all skilled. They're the best in the world.
Me included.
They're the best in the world.
Again.
There are hundreds and hundreds of businesses in the I-91 corridor, in New England's Knowledge Corridor. Hartford's at the center of that. It's the hub, the biggest region within that, sub-region. And we have thousands of jobs begging for people right now. Welders, machinists, you name it. These machines are becoming high-tech. You have to have an education to operate a machine. It's computer-aided manufacturing. You have to be able to operate that computer. You have to know math. You have to know how to read instructions. You have to be skilled and trained, highly trained. We have that right now, but who's going to be doing it? We have lots of people who are falling through the cracks right now, are not getting an education, are not sober. We've been sending off too many of our young kids to prison too long of a time, and we're not rehabbing them or getting them on straight. Got to get them ready. Got to get them back, get them into school, finish that high school, maybe go on to college, junior college, maybe onto a 4-year college, get the skill sets we need for all those people. So we have a huge, we will lose businesses in this region that we have right now if we don't get replacement workers.
No, absolutely. So if we understand, what the workforce needs, then we need to be making sure that we train people to get into those skills.
Right.
So forget about training people for all these fancy, computer things that people want to think about. Oh, it's a computer age and all that. But somebody still needs to do the hands-on work, the labor skills that still need to be done. And people need to be able to do those type of things. So if we know that that's what's needed, then that's the skill set we need to train people for, because that's immediate employment.
There are places where they're training the workers of the future. They're doing it at Asnuntuck Community College, and Enfield's doing it. Goodwin College in East Hartford's doing it. And they're getting right into jobs. We need to have more kids finish their high school, do well. They need to be able to Read, write,
and write.
arithmetic, science, the whole bit.
Yeah.
STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math. We need more of that. And then we prepare them. There are plenty of jobs. They can all be middle class. In manufacturing and engineering and working for insurance companies, they can all be middle class, but they've got to be educated and they've got to get the skill sets.
And we've got to get them interested in making sure that people know that school is not just for the right now. School is lifelong learning. So just make sure that y'all hear to hear first on Get Hip and Get a Grip. We're going to be right back with you. Thank you, Peter, for joining us for this segment of Get Hip and Get a Grip. Keep it locked here on accesstv.org.
The third annual GHPA High School Basketball Spirit of the Dot Classic is back, featuring the best in high school basketball going down Saturday, December 16th at the Trinity College Ferris Athletic Center, 300 Summer Street in Hartford. This year's schedule is loaded with great matchups and rivalries. 5 high-powered games under one roof, and it's only $10 for the day. For more information, email ghpayouth@gmail.com. See you at the third annual GHPA High School Basketball, the Spirit of the Dot Classic, Saturday, December 16th at the Trinity College Ferris Athletic Center. Sponsored by Devon Ward Law Office, Metro Mike PCS, Dynell Martin Scholarship Foundation, A&G Insurance, AccessTV.org, Baller TV, and Hot 93.7.
Welcome back to another segment of Get Hip and Get a Grip with your Councilwoman rJo Winch. We are talking this evening. I'm so excited to the Double Dutch Advisory Committee who are talking about bringing Double Dutch back to the city of Hartford. So many of you who knew that we played Double Dutch as our youth, and some of us still be trying to get out there in our elderly ages, and we want to make sure that our children are reintroduced to the, I don't want to say the game of Double Dutch, I think it's the sport of Double Dutch, and we have with us some prominent leaders in the Double Dutch arena with us here today, starting with this very young man to my left. You want to introduce yourself?
How you doing? I'm Jamal Turner from the Executive Board of American Double Dutch League, representing New York City.
I'm Tanja Anderson, a former double Dutch jumper.
I'm Robin Young Chambers, former jumper of Jumpin' Magic 2 and Little Jumpin' Magic.
And Joan Carter, former jumper, Sparklers.
Lady Carrie McCauley, State Representative for the American Double Dutch League, also a former jumper.
And Reverend Darryl McCoy Sr., the support staff.
Support staff. The pastor do more than supporting the staff. he do a little bit of everything. But I'm so just happy just to be a part. You know, just to be engaged in anything that has to do with our youth and youth engagement, and just having an opportunity to sit with you all and talk about some of the wonderful things that they're talking about bringing into our city, inside the city of Hartford. So what has Double Dutch actually, meant or done, or some of the things that you all have been able to do about mentoring youth around, the sport of Double Dutch? Anybody?
Well, just today, I was talking to one of the coaches, and she was telling me how a young lady's mother had passed recently, and how she was so quiet and so disengaged, but because of Double Dutch, she's able to reenact, and every night she comes home and she's talking about Double Dutch, and so she's excited about it. So I was ecstatic to hear that, to know that, our sport could do that for someone.
I think that a lot of times people underestimate, what sports do for not just children, but for adults too. It causes you to be disciplined, dedicated, take care of yourself so that you can get out there to do the next thing, or even help you to become mentors to others who might want to also get themselves engaged. Or just people see you jumping and go, oh, I never tried that. How do I do that? How do I make that happen? Like I was over with Lady Carrie, and they practice every Wednesday at 5:30. I guess it's at 49 Charter Oak Avenue. And so the lady from New Haven, she was working with me. I said, I'm a Double Dutch, and Stan had the embarrassing takes where the rope kept stopping. I'm like, Stan, don't take that. But he don't listen too well. So she was like, well, you just get the beat, And so that's so important, in just that discipline to know how to jump. It's so important.
Yeah, and just like Jamal said, and Double Dutch, it's not only, getting in between two ropes and just jumping Double Dutch. It's a self-esteem builder. Mm-hmm. I experienced last night I was working with some kids, and being their first time, you know, doing it. And it was one little girl, she didn't want to do it at all. You know, she could watch, but she didn't want to do it. So I said, sweetie, just do it one time. Because you already know, once you do it one time, you hook.
That's it.
And that's exactly what happened. She got in, she did it one time, and she was off and running. She just wanted to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. So Double Dutch is more than just jumping, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can testify to that.
Well, look at you guys. You guys have made like lifelong relationships through Double Dutch.
It's the alpha and the omega in my life, and many others. I think I'm more on the forefront because my scars are more visible than others. Their scars are internal. But because of Double Dutch, my scars internally don't exist.
Don't matter. Exactly.
They have no, and people are baffled. That's the word I use, as to how in the world can someone go through something like that as a young child, and your self-esteem is out the roof. And I say one thing, Double Dutch. And they're like, what is that? Because they want to know what that secret is, because it's so powerful. And that's the legacy that we want to give these children. It's too powerful to keep to yourself. And I feel like we were obligated to help the young to reach back and give that gift back. So we have to bring that sport back. It was a beloved sport in this state. It was something we naturally did. We have kids that were coming up to the riverfront with Lady Carey and myself and Greg Drayton, and they couldn't even get in the rope, and now we see them doing freestyle routines compulsory. That was just 3 months ago.
Wow.
So it doesn't take long. So even if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. Come on out, you know, with boys, girls, trying to bring it back. It carries over. You know, it's sport, and as we know, if you're disciplined in sports, it carries over into your academic world. It happened to me. I became a world champion, and I became a straight A student in the same year at Lewis Fox Middle School. And from then I stayed straight A, straight through college. So it's a discipline, and that's what, once you learn that, it carries, and you have to give that to the kids. It's our obligation to give that to these kids.
And with
especially in
discipline
this
also
world.
comes respect, you know, because some children are out, they're looking for, you know, discipline, looking for a place to belong. And if you don't give children a positive place to belong, they'll find their own negative place, because what they need is to belong. So when you're offering that, and you know, and you're engaged in it, you're engaged, they're engaged, then they will.
That you acquire once you become Double Dutch. Once you do Double Dutch, you know, you meet like Joe, like I said.
Yeah, we're like family. Yeah, we're family.
I remember your face, but I didn't know you. I knew them. We practiced in the same gym, and then you meet other people, and you just become a family and a bond that never breaks.
It's a sorority, because I'm telling you, my competitors that compete, she's my hairdresser.
We live in a small world.
I trust
It's a small world.
Yeah, I trust her with my hairdo.
Yeah, it's a small
we were
world.
on the gym floor.
Yeah.
We were competing.
Yes.
It was, you know, it was no friendship on the court. But yeah, it's a sorority to this day. I mean, it's a group of us, and it's actually like a sorority. We talk, we call each other, we're still close. We're respected in the community. The people that came to the tournaments in the 80s, they remember the teams, the teammates. We were serious competitors, but we loved one another. Phyllis Goggins was one of the best jumpers, and I competed with her, and we loved each other. There was
We
no
gonna compete in
animosity.
the rope, then we gonna go out to eat dinner.
Yeah.
We gonna fight on the court, but then we
Yeah.
gonna go sing
There you
Kumbaya
go.
after. We're not gonna make it personal and
No,
take it
never
with us.
personal.
We gonna go head up right
Never
here,
personal.
and then we're gonna enjoy ourselves after,
Exactly.
you know, it's over. And that's, you know, that's
Absolutely.
the luxury of the team, you know, and team building and team sports.
Yes.
And you all just happen to pick Double Dutch, you know, as that sport. But I really admire like coaches and people who get out there who want to make sure that people understand that you're more than just like you said, more than just the rope. You know, it's the discipline of you. It's who you are. It's the accomplishment. That when you know you can accomplish something that you've not done before, then you can imagine what that feels. I teach basic training when I was in the military, and you see how they come in, and then you see how they leave out. You know, it's always so rewarding to see them that day when they graduated, and then you remember from where they came from. So I gotta imagine that when y'all see those kids jumping the rope, that is making that same kind of transition.
You're so proud.
We do. Look, we do. We really
proud.
do.
Yeah, they're like, come, you know.
I'm us. We do. When we see them kids, when they get in there and they do something, I mean, we just get excited.
I trained that.
You know what I got it is when Stephon Webb was one of the greatest jumpers, and he's probably one of the top 3 coaches in the world. He could coach anybody, make anybody fabulous. And Stephon now teaches the younger ones, and usually Stephon was one of the uppity coaches. Like, you can't jump compulsory. I'm not even touching you. Right? Get away from me. I only deal with the best. And he was, and now he works with these kids, and he said he gets such a joy out of seeing them not being able to jump, and then to see where it transformed. And he has more of a joy doing that now, because he was the ultimate competitor. And now to see him on that level, and for him to even for him to come and say, hey, Jamal, look, I got a 5-year, hold up. You're committed 5 years into this with these kids? I'm thinking, he a mercenary. He's just coming in. He's gonna do this 1 year with these kids and then move on. And he's telling me he's got a 5-year plan, and that's great, because what you said with the rhythm, and I had to explain to people, no disrespect to a crew, the rowing crew. But I learned how to row, and the rowing crew swears, and they always say they're the one true team sport because everyone has to do it, and that's not true. Because I got on there, and I missed a couple of beats, so you could actually just hold your oar up and don't have to do anything, and everybody else work, and that boat will go. But double dutch is the ultimate team sport. If one person doesn't do their job, we all fail. And then not only that, everybody has to be in sync. It's the only sport where that happens.
Right. And one of the nice things is, like, it's funny because I'm a big sports fanatic, and when I started watching actually what my wife was doing with the sport, I was like, wow, it's a type of sport where, like I said, it's a discipline, jump in, jump out, the turning and everything. So it really teaches the kids about working together as a team, which the inner cities really, really need that to be reinforced. How to work. You're only the strongest, the weakest link. So I think it's a wonderful tool that's being used to teach kids about character building and team building in the city.
No, absolutely, because everybody wants to survive. It's about survival of the fittest. But it's not about I survive. It's about we survive. That's right. So, because if I survive and I'm here by myself, what good is that? So I got to make sure we are going to survive. That's right. So if I make $1 million and I don't help somebody else make $1 million, I'm going to be a poor millionaire because I'm going to be,
by yourself.
I'm going to be a millionaire by myself. And that's fun. I don't care where you are. Success is not good unless you can help somebody else, to be successful too. Because who want to be there?
Billy Wheels,
who want to be there by themselves? I don't mind, but I'm like, that's a good problem to have, but it still could be lonely. Look at all these millionaires committing suicide and doing all kind of other stuff because money don't make you happy. You need relationships.
Another point I'd like to add, I was watching, like I said, I'm a sports fanatic. One of the things about like what Wayne Gretzky, what he was talking about when he was coming up and he was doing hockey, he was known as someone who could score a lot of points. And we know, like with basketball programs, you always got a kid that he's taller than everybody else, bigger than everybody else, and can dominate the sport. He can hit 30 points a game. Running in football, kids can run faster than somebody or whatever the case. It's just based on their anatomy. But double dutch, it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, it's how much you can conform to the team. So it really promotes the team unity thing, which is really nice.
You were going to say.
Right. The other great thing in the team dynamic, because I'm glad you brought that up in those other sports, all of them reward the individual. You're talking team sports, you reward the individual as if the individual did it themselves. And because I'm such a sports fanatic, even I got caught up in an executive, and I'm one of the guys that's an announcer in the microphone, so I'm always applauding, oh, there go Peter, he's the fastest jump in the world, fastest jump in the world, fastest jump in the world. And then one day I had to check myself. I said, ladies and gentlemen, for years. I apologize. I've been rewarding Peter as being one of the fastest jumpers in the world, and granted he is, but I'm so sorry. Peter's not the fastest jumper in the world. His team is the fastest team in the world, because no matter how great Peter is as great as he is because of the turners that he had. Because without those turners, it wouldn't. And what I love about Double Dutch is it's teaching the kids, because everybody wants to jump. But it was like, look, if you don't turn, this jump don't mean anything. It's all about the turning. Football is all about that man who does the block. Basketball is all about that man that sets the pick or makes the pass. Somebody's got to sacrifice themselves, you know. But the one thing about Double Dutch is the team is rewarded, and there's never a situation where it's about the one. There's never one.
It's always about the team.
It's about the team.
Unless you're Joan, I saw Joan the other day. She did a split. And I was like, wait a minute. Unless you can do some stuff like that,
Still Joan?
Yeah.
What?
Like this.
What? Girl. I'm embarrassed. I was just trying to jump for less. I was trying to jump for not even a minute. I was trying to jump for less than a minute. And they had to start over several times. But you know, at 64, I made that happen. So I just want to, thank y'all for coming out here and sharing with us tonight. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. I always get educated every time I meet a new group, talk to individuals about the things that they're doing. I'm always excited about things, like I said, when you're promoting youth and, education and team building and discipline. All those things that were so prominent in our lives are the things that we have to remember are going to be prominent in the future of our youth that are coming behind us. And a lot of the people always talk about how, the youth are our future. I'm so glad that you all can join me and say we're going to invest in it. So we're not just going to talk about they are our future. We're going to invest in it and make sure that you all go to that GoFundMe site. What's
That's
site?
right. We did set up a GoFundMe. Before I say that though, but also too, I just want to make mention to another coach that's part of our team as well, and that's Miss Beverly Chambers, that's sitting over there. Yeah, so she's part of this advisory board. She's also a coach.
And a former jumper.
Yes. And champion.
That's right. She's a champion too. So what's the GoFundMe site?
The is Double Dutch. What is it? Double State Competition Double Dutch GoFundMe. You can find it 2018. Yes. So if you go on GoFundMe, you will see State Competition. That's what you will see. State Competition Double Dutch, and it'll pop right up. So
All right. So make sure y'all go to that GoFundMe site and contribute, because we want to make sure that we have all the funds that we need to bring this exciting event here to the city of Hartford. So make sure that you keep it locked here on accesstv.org.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I do business as Light Source Productions. I provide professional services in the area of strategic video communications. First, what we do is we help you craft your message using what I call the rule of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We do event documentation, content acquisition, full-scale productions, editing, and of course distribution through our social media television network. And with social media, video is more important now than it has ever been. Whether you're talking big business, small business, nonprofit, church, or just an individual. Let's say you plan you're planning an event, a wedding, whatever the case may be. But let's say a big event, but no video. And you spent all this time, all these hours to put this event on, and maybe 100, 200 people attend the event. But more important than that is that thousands could attend by watching it on social media. But of course, you don't think about this until after the event is over. You can't afford not to capture it for social media. And despite what people think, I am affordable. Give me a call. Let's plan your next video project and share it with the world on my social media television network. I promise you that you will have the attention of one person, me.